Hey, welcome back. After what seems to be an entire black week, given the low market sentiment and the sell-offs from the various stock exchanges, including the impact on Bitcoin, we are starting to see a glimpse of light at the end of this dark tunnel. So I just want to quickly explain what we are seeing currently in the market and why we should continue to hold on to our convictions, as to why we should hold on to our high premium assets, including Bitcoin. So we are seeing Bitcoin surging, hovering over $62,000 before retreating. Now it's following a broad market rally, which we are seeing some reversals on the steep losses that we've witnessed earlier this week, ever since Black Monday. Some analysts are predicting a $100,000 target for the Bitcoin digital asset later on this year, around the October-November period, when we are going to see the outcome of the US presidential election. Why we are seeing this rally? Well, it's mainly influenced by the favorable stock market sentiment that we are seeing and expectations of Bitcoin actually mirroring its previous past cycles, with typically liquidated short positions, which have actually contributed to this surge we are seeing at the moment. Now, the Bitcoin as a result has jumped just over 7% in the past 24 hours, which is one of the biggest single day percentage gains in recent months. So this is hopeful. And also we've seen an interesting statement from the Bank of Japan. If you recall, they've actually been one of the major contributing factors for the downfall on the global stock markets, and we've just seen a statement where they have pledged that they will not raise any more interest rates any further. And also, if you couple this with the recent sell-off from the German government, where they've sold quite a handful of their seized bitcoins, they have actually run out on tokens to sell. Well, this is going to be good news. We're anticipating the price to no longer go below the $50,000 mark for Bitcoin ever again. That's what one of the analysts are anticipating or predicting as a result. And then finally, if we recall back to the US presidential election that's actually taking place at the moment. Now, if Trump actually wins, and given the fact that he's already made pledges during the Bitcoin Nashville conference a week or so ago, this would mean there'll be a rush of new buyers of Bitcoin, and in effect we could potentially see Bitcoin price actually going above the $100,000 target. Now, October, November are historically strong months for Bitcoin, especially in the 6 months after the halving that took place in April this year, where we have seen traditionally pullbacks in price, which is expected really. This is normal before it eventually catapults into new time highs. This is the natural volatility nature of the Bitcoin asset. This is no different from any other financial asset. So this week I've seen, and we can pull our hands high and say that Bitcoin still remains a risk-on asset. It's still a correlated asset. It's based on the stock market indices, right? It's still based on those macroeconomic conditions, whether it's the output of the job unemployment rate from the US or elsewhere, and so on. There's no dispute on that. But we are starting to see that is rapidly becoming a risk-off asset, where once the level of adoption on the S-curve for Bitcoin eventually plateaus, at that point I would see Bitcoin will have its own characteristics. So as an upshot to this video, yes, there is a glimpse at the end of the tunnel this week. We are definitely seeing a rebound on Bitcoin price, as well with the general stock market sentiment. But particularly on the aspect of Bitcoin, we know it's a brilliantly new asset. It's nothing that we've ever seen before. It is a scarce asset. There's only going to ever be 21 million Bitcoins out there in the network. So people and investors need to rush to grasp as much of their Bitcoins as they can, whether it's through dollar cost averaging, pound cost averaging, euro cost averaging, or indeed yen cost averaging. Small, bit by bit, add them to your portfolios, because we are going to see the continuation of the bull run for Bitcoin. We're still technically in a bull cycle every 4 years. Is a pristine asset, as I've said. It's nothing that we've ever seen before, and it's all the more reason why we should hold on to that conviction and not get distracted. I insist, not get distracted by the macroeconomic conditions that we have seen this week. It's just a testimony that Bitcoin is rapidly becoming a resilient enough asset to see through these turbulent periods. In the last couple of days, I've also seen an additional $200 million of net new inflows into the US spot Bitcoin ETFs. in the last couple of days. Again, just evidence that people are using, the slight dip in Bitcoin price to add into their own portfolio. So they're actually accumulating more Bitcoins, albeit at a discounted price, which is something that I've been advocating throughout in all of my videos in this channel, right? If you are truly convicted that Bitcoin is a wonderfully unique asset, it is a pristine asset, right? It has its own characteristics. It's scarce, it's stronger, it's a harder asset, even more harder than gold. We are seeing even more so than ever before the outflows from gold ETFs into the Bitcoin bot ETFs as a result. Gold is always going to be unearthed from the ground, so there's continuous supply there. And ever since the halving that took place in April this year, we have seen that Bitcoin, in terms of difficulty in mining your Bitcoins, is actually becoming more difficult than gold. So I cannot emphasize enough the hardness of the Bitcoin asset, even relative to gold. And we shouldn't be worried by the volatility. It's a natural progression of a financial asset, particularly when it's new. It's actually normal. As an investor, we like to see volatility. We like to see increased volumes in the trading of this financial asset, because that's the natural way for the asset to actually grow and form part of our global financial system into the medium long term. And once, like I said, it reaches along the S-curve adoption in terms of when it plateaus, because eventually it has to plateau, then we're going to see the volatility slightly dropping as a result, and it will just become a question of trading Bitcoin in the day-to-day, whether it's we see it as a store of value, or as a unit of account, or even as a medium of exchange, which are, as we all know, those are the three attributes of money. I personally use Bitcoin as a store of value, because my main goal for Bitcoin, holding on to Bitcoin, is to generate that intergenerational wealth for my family, loved ones. So rather than as a medium of exchange, which is something I don't encourage you to use, treat it more as a store of value to begin with, because that's really where we're going to see the greatest wealth potential as a result of holding on to our Bitcoin assets. So hopefully this video has been inspiring, and if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the like button, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to this channel, as I regularly post some high quality videos that could be of interest to you investors out there. So until next time.